Disclaimer: none of the characters, songs including intro, artworks including thumbnail, in the video are mine. This video is not an accurate portrayal of the characters. This is also not intended as a defamation of character either. Please note that what I write does not reflect my views and opinions. Just because I write it, does not necessarily mean I agree with it. This is all only for the purpose of entertainment. Warning: foul language, grammatical mistakes, typographical errors. On to the video.
After Iwaizumi apologized in Okinawa, he didn't stop making it up for Oikawa. It might not have been grand like what he did back in Okinawa, but he can see how much it meant to Oikawa. The first thing he did after they got back home was to ask Oikawa to move in with him. He was nervous, of course. They might have known each other almost their entire lives, but that was still a big step to make, especially since they are still trying to mend their relationship. Oikawa was ecstatic though. He seemed to have forgotten all about Iwaizumi's sins. No matter, Iwaizumi will still make it up to him. Oikawa moved in with him, but not before making a lot of arrangements like looking for a doctor who Oikawa's comfortable with, getting a bigger apartment and other things. After that, it's surprisingly been smooth sailing, most probably because Oikawa doesn't hold on to grudges. Iwaizumi doesn't know why he didn't do it before, honestly. It's not like it was hard or it was something he didn't like to do. It actually was. He loves pampering Oikawa. After their brief time apart, things has taken a turn for the better. Iwaizumi has been really sweet to him and he's kind of scared he's becoming spoiled, but he also loves it. His first therapy session with his new doctor, Iwaizumi walked him to the hospital and supported him there, waiting for him until he finished the session. He even skipped class for him, which is something Oikawa shouldn't be allowing, but he just felt so flattered. It's not like Iwaizumi even does something there but study. His presence is just very much appreciated. After that, Iwaizumi had to go back to class, so he couldn't stay with Oikawa. Unfortunately, he did, however, still walk him to the hospital and waited for him to finish afterwards, since Iwaizumi gets out of school first. One time, when Iwaizumi had an exam, he still waited for Oikawa instead of going straight home, and people were looking at him concerned since he had a couple of notes spread out on the table in the waiting room and he really looked stressed. Iwaizumi is once again questioning why he had to take the extremely hard route and almost lose Oikawa before getting his head out of his ass and treating Oikawa properly. What were his reasons again? Oikawa is disruptive to his studies? Oh please. Oikawa's smarter than him. They are currently having a date in a cafe near the campus, and since Iwaizumi has another exam tomorrow, it's mostly a study date. They are sat facing each other, with their hands intertwined above the table. Iwaizumi's doing his homework and Oikawa's helping him study by reading his class notes and trying to understand it so he could explain it to Iwaizumi better later. Toru. Yes, Iwa-chan. Iwaizumi couldn't quite suppress a pout and Oikawa giggled lightly at how cute his boyfriend is. Help. What subject? Chemistry. Oikawa laughed again and Iwaizumi's pout became more pronounced. Chemistry is Iwaizumi's worst subject and Oikawa of course knows this. Shut up. Oh, is my Puwawitwa baby Iwa-chan struggling with his homework? Oikawa reached with his free hand and squeezed Iwaizumi's cheeks. Stop. Iwaizumi playfully slapped Oikawa's hand away and rubbed his red cheek. I can't help it, Iwa-chan. You're so cute. Oh fuck you. Iwaizumi pouted again and Oikawa just laughed. It's no offense really. Iwaizumi just has a really foul mouth, except only Oikawa, Matsun and Maki knows. Oikawa lowered his head, then said in a voice only loud enough for Iwaizumi to hear. Fuck me then daddy. Iwaizumi blushed then abruptly stood up before hurriedly packing his things away. Fuck this. It's not a major subject anyway. Iwaizumi grabbed a flustered and laughing Oikawa and dragged him out of the cafe. Iwaizumi is stressed and Oikawa's just laughing at him. What even is this? It's the same word. What do you mean they are not pronounced the same? The dove into the bushes. Iwa-chan hahaha, it's not dav it's dav. No it's not. Yes it is. It's not. It's the same word. How could they be pronounced differently? That's just how it is. Ugh. English is a bitch. Hahaha. Iwa-chan, why are you even learning it anyway? I'm only learning it because I need to. Iwaizumi mumbled something that Oikawa couldn't hear. What was that? I wanted to learn it with you, so I could understand you and so you could have someone to learn with. Ikora blushed and clutched his chest. So cute, Iwa-chan. Ikora jumped on Iwaizumi and just squeezed the life out of him. Iwaizumi smiled and relaxed in Ikora's hold, gently embracing back and burying his face on Ikora's neck, just inhaling his scent. They both released each other eventually and continued studying the English language. Rose rose to put rose rose on her rose of roses. Dart. Face with tears of joy. Dart. Face rolling on the floor laughing. Dart. Fuck this. Let's study Spanish instead. Ikora laughed then obliged. In the middle of studying Spanish, Ikora asked, "Was that your only reason, Iwa-chan?" Then Iwaizumi answered, deadpan, "I also wanted to talk shit about Maki and Matsun to their faces without them knowing." Ikora doubled over laughing. "I wanted to learn how to say I love you in every language." It's less than a week before Ikora leaves Japan and IwaOi decided to go on a 3-day vacation to Okinawa. They are both lying on the sand stargazing. Well, Iwaizumi was stargazing. Ikora was ranting about aliens. As usual. It's what they normally do on their breaks. Watch alien documentaries until Ikora falls asleep, tired from having a whole ass speech regarding the subjects while Iwaizumi watches him and tries to keep up with the discussion. They're real, Iwa-chan, I swear. Iwaizumi nodded, encouraging Ikora to elaborate. He's not really interested in the topic, but he loves how passionate his lover is about it. He makes whatever he's saying sound interesting. Iwaizumi swears he could recite the periodic table and make it sound like an award-winning music. Matsumaki disagrees and says that only Iwaizumi thinks that because he's a simp, but what do they know? I really hate it when people call people who believe in aliens childish when they're the one being ignorant. Arrogant dumbasses. The universe is wide. Ikora punctuated the word by spreading his arms wide open, and is getting bigger and bigger by the minute. The Earth is only an atom compared to the entire universe, and it's stupid to think that we're the only living creatures. We can't even properly explore our own planet, much less the other planets in our galaxy. How do they get to make conclusions that just aren't logical? How? Iwaizumi laughed at how cute Ikora looks while upset. His arms were crossed. His cheeks were puffed out and his bottom lip was jutted out, and Iwaizumi couldn't quite resist the urge to capture it with his own. He leaned forward and locked their lips together, which slowly evolved into a full-blown kiss, with Iwaizumi hovering on top of Ikora. He pulled back a few moments later and smiled at the blush in Ikora's face. "Iwa-chan, calm down. You've been talking a lot. Your mouth must be dry." "I was just checking." Ikora blushed. "Stupid Iwa-chan. You're blocking the view." "Why you?" Iwaizumi tickled Ikora until he had tears in his eyes from laughing too much. "Stop, Iwa, ha 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 ha. You're gonna behave now?" Ikora grinned. "Yes, daddy." Iwaizumi groaned and dropped his head on Ikora's shoulder, trying to calm down while Ikora just stared at the sky, smiling as he massaged Iwaizumi's scalp. Iwaizumi lifted his head a few minutes later and stared seriously into Ikora's eyes. "Iwa?" Iwaizumi swallowed, then slowly sat up before rummaging his pockets. "Toru." Ikora sat up. "Yes, Iwa-chan." Iwaizumi looked away with a blush before extending his hand in Ikora's direction, presenting a rock. "Open it." Ikora's eyebrows furrowed. "Open the rock?" "It's a geode." Ikora's eyes widened and he hurriedly opened it. He gasped at the sight of not only the beautiful inside of the geode but at the ring in the middle of it. "Iwa-chan, are you proposing to me?" Ikora joked, laughing nervously. As much as he loves Iwaizumi, he doesn't think they're ready to get married yet. "No." Iwaizumi shouted in panic. Ikora breathed a sigh of relief. "I mean, not yet. I'm not saying I don't want to. I do. I just, not now. Plus, I wouldn't give you such a tacky ring as an engagement ring. It's a promise ring. I'm not asking you yet because I still don't have anything to offer. I can't even buy you an actual ring, so I had to make one. I know you love thinking of other worlds out there, so I thought maybe I could give you your own. I want to marry you, Toru. Not right now, but in the future, hopefully, after we've reached all our goals and achieved our dreams. Maybe it's foolish to say it so early, but I can't imagine myself or you with anyone else. I love you, Toru." Both had eyes glistening in unshed tears. Ikora blinked and slowly inserted the ring on his left ring finger. "Who said I'm going to marry you?" he said jokingly, flustered and didn't know what else to say. Iwaizumi raised an eyebrow, very much aware that Ikora's joking. "Well, you're gonna have to give me back the ring." He made a move to grab it, but Ikora leaned back and kept it away from him. No way. It's mine now. You're stuck with me now, Iwa. No refunds. Ikora had the audacity to stick his tongue out at Iwaizumi as he held the hand wearing the ring protectively on his chest. Iwaizumi chuckled and leaned forward, Ikora watching his movements with eyes squinted in suspicion. Iwaizumi slowly reached a hand towards him and Ikora pulled his hand closer to him. Iwaizumi cupped Ikora's cheek and gently leaned in to press another slow kiss. He pulled away a few moments later and smirked at Ikora. You fell for my trap, Toru. It's you who's stuck with me. Iwaizumi drawled with a smug smile on his face, every syllable punctuated for maximum effect. Ikora gasped dramatically and clutched his chest. Foul villain. You have stolen my heart. How dare you? They both stared at each other seriously before bursting into a fit of giggles. It's the morning before they go back to Tokyo and Iwaizumi decided to have breakfast in bed. He cooked food, brought it to their room and shook Ikora awake. Wake up, Toru. It's time for breakfast. Iwa. Ikora yawned, rubbing his eyes. What's up? Breakfast in bed. Ikora yawned again. Oh, okay. He spent a few more minutes making sure he wouldn't fall back to sleep, then pulled Iwaizumi on top of him and kissed him. They made out for a few minutes before Iwaizumi pulled away. He raised an eyebrow at the fully awake Ikora. What are you doing? Ikora blinked innocently. Having my breakfast in bed? Iwaizumi burst out laughing and got up. I was talking about actual food, Toru. If you eat now. He leaned down and whispered in Ikora's ear. You can have me for dessert later. Ikora blushed but got up to eat actual food. They both ate in bed, Ikora leaning on Iwaizumi as he was fed. Iwaizumi was rolling his eyes at Ikora's childishness but internally blushing at how cute his boyfriend is. They both finished eating and Iwaizumi stood at the foot of the bed, left hand extended sideways and holding milk bread, the packaged one you buy in grocery stores, not the freshly baked ones that Ikora likes from the bakery near their houses. But milk bread is milk bread. Choose your dessert, Toru. Ikora immediately moved towards Iwaizumi before hesitating and proceeded to look back and forth to Iwaizumi and the milk bread. A few more moments of Ikora just looking back and forth at Iwaizumi and the milk bread and Iwaizumi's faces twitching in irritation. The last straw was when he saw Ikora stretching his hands towards the milk bread. Are you seriously choosing the milk bread over me? Iwaizumi moved the milk bread away from Ikora. But Iwa-chan, I can have you whenever I want, but you only give me limited milk bread. That's because it's not healthy to eat 10 milk breads in one sitting. But Iwa, fine if you don't want me. Then I'll go downstairs and wash the dishes. Iwaizumi turned around and walked out of the room. Ikora immediately scrambled to get out of bed and back hugged Iwaizumi. Iwa, I'm sorry. I was just joking. Iwaizumi continued moving forward, dragging Ikora with him. Ikora changed tactics. Forgive me, daddy, for I have been naughty. Iwaizumi stopped in his tracks and groaned. The way Ikora said it was so soft and innocent, and yet, little Iwaizumi's up. He picked Ikora up and slung over his shoulder, walking them back to the room. Neither noticed how even when Iwaizumi said he would go and wash the dishes, he forgot to actually pick up the dishes. Iwaizumi dropped Ikora at the bed before going on top of him and immediately locking their lips together. It was later into the kiss when Iwaizumi noticed that Ikora was getting lower and lower and has become stiff. He let go of his lips and watched Ikora concentrating on something. He looked at where Ikora was glancing at to see his foot trying to reach the milk bread.
Intermission. I'm sorry for the long wait, and since I'm feeling guilty, I decided to upload to videos Tomaki up for it. Please go see me protective at Sumu Video. Also, please go check out my channel. I set up a poll there for the Terakita story, as well as additional questions. Thank you. Back to the video.
Ikora's at the airport with the entire Seijo team. Sakuatsu, Ushiten and Kajiyama. They are standing in the middle of the airport waiting anxiously for Iwaizumi to arrive. They didn't go to the airport together since Ikora spent the last 3 days of the week in Miyagi with his family before going straight to the airport after. Where is he? Calm down, Kora. I'm sure he's won his way. Maki poked his boyfriend and Whisper yelled at him. Tell him to come now or else. Just then, they heard his flight being called. Iwa-chan. His grip on his bag was tight as he looked around for his boyfriend. He could feel tears forming behind his eyes at the thought of his boyfriend not seeing him off. The others all felt that familiar anger at Iwaizumi as they watched Oikawa almost be put to tears at his absence. Then, Toru. Oikawa turned around so hard the others got a whiplash. He immediately wrapped his trembling body around Iwaizumi and cried a bit. Iwa, I thought you weren't coming. Sorry Toru, just forgot to pack something. Oikawa let go of Iwaizumi in confusion. Pack? He looked down and saw Iwaizumi carrying his own luggage. Iwa what? The others also gasped as they saw Iwaizumi's things. What's this? I'm coming with you. What? You can't do that. Why not? You can't. You can't just pick up your life and move it to Argentina for me. I'm not though. Oikawa stopped in his tracks. Maybe he misunderstood. I'm not picking up my life and moving it to Argentina. My life is moving to Argentina alone and leaving me in Japan. Oikawa's eyes and mouth fell open as Iwaizumi shrugged. I couldn't let you do that so I decided to tag along. What? Iwa you can't just do that. It's not that easy. What about your school? Your family? Your expenses? What? Toru. Iwaizumi stepped closer and pressed his forehead on Oikawa's. This wasn't a spur of the moment decision. I actually thought it through. I already finished all my schoolwork in advance and requested for transfer papers. I already took an entrance exam for a school in Argentina and it's one of the major schools in the world. I actually have more opportunities there than here in Japan. I also managed to get a high score in the entrance exam so I was offered a full scholarship. I just need to maintain my grades. I've also already been accepted into a cafe near the university where I can work part-time since a lot of students also work there so they're pretty understanding. Iwa, and I already found a cheap apartment near the campus and near the training centers and I thought maybe we could continue living together. It's fine if you don't want to though. It's cheap enough for me to afford since my parents approved of my decision and decided to help me with a few bills. And, I already learned the language with you. Plus, why do you think I went with you when you went to get all the necessary paperworks? I also got mine. Oikawa was crying at this point and the others just watched dumbfounded since they weren't prepared to lose both of their friends but at the same time finding the couple in front of them cute. Iwa, I thought this through Toru. Ever since I found out you were leaving, I've been working hard so I could go with you without any complications. Why? You didn't have to do this. We would have been fine even with the distance. I know, but I wanted to be with you. We've been together for most of our lives and it just didn't seem right to have you gone so suddenly. They both just stood there crying with their foreheads pressed together, the world around them forgotten as Iwaizumi caresses Oikawa's cheek with his thumb, lightly rubbing their lips together. They pulled away from each other after what seemed like an eternity. I'm not giving up on our promise though. After I graduate, I'll come back to Japan and defeat you still. You might be my future husband but don't think that will gain you mercy. Oikawa laughed, tears still spilling from his eyes. Bold of you to assume you're the one who'll win Iwa. A sudden scream startled them and they looked to see some of their friends crying as well. They said words that IwaOi didn't fully understand through all the tears and since they all decided to speak at once. But they got the general idea. They all embraced each other, with IwaOi in the middle before releasing them when their flight was announced again. Not fair. Not cool. Why didn't you tell us you were leaving too? I wanted it to be a surprise. They announced their flight again. We should go Iwa. Wait. Our kiss. Yes our kiss. Oikawa laughed and kissed both on their cheeks, then proceeded to kiss his cowhace on their foreheads. Kindaichi was sniffling and Kunami had suspiciously red eyes. Yahuba was openly crying and even Mad Dog was pouting. I forgot Watarilmeo. He also kissed Kajiyama on the forehead and ruffled his hair. Kajiyama touched the part where Oikawa ruffled his hair before lifting his head and nodding at his former mentor with teary eyes. He kissed Tenda on the cheek and patted Ashijima on the shoulder before flipping him the bird. He also kissed a still crying Atsumu on the cheek before rolling his eyes at how Sakusa tightened his grip on Atsumu's waist. Possessive much? He then went back to rescue his boyfriend from Matsumaki who were trying to steal a kiss from him. As they waved their last goodbyes, Iwaizumi reached for Oikawa's hands and they walked towards the plane with their hands entwined. They've been in Argentina for a month now and it was not easy adjusting. The culture was vastly different and they had to sit back and observe first to determine what was appropriate and what was not. They also had to adjust to the time difference and spent the earlier days sleepless and tired. The communication aspect was perhaps the worst. As predicted, because even when they can understand a bit of what was being said, the speed as well as the pronunciations and other slang words made it hard for them to communicate properly. Still though, Iwaizumi was thankful that he made the decision to go with Oikoa to Argentina. It was already hard for both of them. How much harder would it have been if Oikoa had to go through all of this alone? He knows Oikoa's strong and he would be able to overcome the obstacles, but Iwaizumi's still more than happy to help Oikoa overcome it. It's a Sunday morning, which is their only day off. Iwaizumi is in the kitchen of their apartment since Oikoa decided to live with him due to the awkwardness of living with his estranged father. He noticed that since their group call with the team last night, Oikoa's been down. He figured the homesickness finally kicked in and Oikoa's been missing Japan. So Iwaizumi is in the kitchen early in the morning while Oikoa sleeps still, to attempt to bake milk bread since they don't really have any in Argentina. The only problem is, Iwaizumi can't bake. He's a fairly decent cook, but Oikoa's better in the kitchen, especially when it came to baking. He searched up the recipe, bought the ingredients, and thought to himself, how difficult would it be? Oh, how naive. Iwaizumi suffered the consequences of that thought. In his attempt to bake milk bread, the kitchen is now covered floor to ceiling with flour. There's milk spilled on the floor. There are eggs stuck to the walls. There's sugar and salt scattered on top of the kitchen counter. There's butter smeared everywhere. And the oven is coughing out smoke at his latest attempt. Not to mention the fact that he looks like he bathed himself in the ingredients. Overall, the kitchen is a disaster. Still, he's not giving up. He's just finishing up another batch of hopefully not failed attempts. He finished, cleaned the oven up a bit, inserted the unbaked milk bread in the oven and prayed to every god known and unknown that this one would succeed finally. He just about let himself relax when he heard the oven explode and black smoke came out. The fire alarm goes off and it starts raining in the kitchen. Iwaizumi just stands in the middle of the kitchen looking so done with TGE world when he heard the voice of his love. Iwa-chan. Iwa-chan, you okay? He stopped at the kitchen door and watched gobsmacked at the state of the kitchen. Wow, what happened here? Iwa-chan? He directed his eyes to the embarrassed and exhausted form of his lover in the middle of the disaster. Iwaizumi looked down. Sorry Toru. I tried making you milk bread but, he sighed, gesturing to the mess around them. Well, it failed. Oikoa's eyes softened. He couldn't even muster up the courage to laugh since Iwaizumi just looked so defeated. He stepped carefully into the kitchen and gently pulled Iwaizumi out of it, taking him to the bathroom and stripping both of them out their clothes. Iwaizumi blushed. What are you doing? You look like a mess, Iwa. You should take a bath and I want to take a bath too, so I thought I could join you. But, don't worry about the kitchen, Iwa. Oikoa leaned closer to Iwaizumi and rubbed their noses together before locking their lips for a few seconds and let go. We haven't cleaned the apartment in a while and I think it's time for us to finally give our home a makeover and unpack the other boxes that we neglected. But not before eating. What do you think about going to that cafe across the road for some breakfast? Iwaizumi let out a breathless chuckle as he pulled Oikoa closer to him by the waist, and capturing his lips in a slow and gentle kiss before pressing their foreheads together, their eyes closed. Yeah, that sounds great. Iwaizumi's voice was hoarse with the emotions he was feeling. Oikoa pulled away and continued removing their remaining clothes. Good. After that, we can start cleaning. Then, how about you help me make milk bread after? I can teach you. Iwaizumi swallowed, eyes wet with unshed tears. He can't believe he almost lost this. Sure Toru. He pressed Oikoa to the bathroom wall, kissing him with much more passion as he lifted one of Oikoa's thighs to make space for him, and Oikoa hooked his leg on Iwaizumi's waist, pulling him closer to him. Love you Toru. Love you too Iwa. Time skip. After Argentina vs Japan game, Iwaizumi has long been back in Japan and he and Oikoa made sure to set up a time where they can talk with each other. Oikoa also goes back to Japan every few months when they don't have a game. Argentina won the game and naturally, many was upset, especially bitter haters who blamed Oikoa when they found out he was Japanese and still decided to go play for Argentina. So when Japanese team trainer Iwaizumi Hajime started walking towards the Argentina team with purpose immediately after the game, it gathered people's attentions. People thought he was going to start a fight and some were trying to stop him. Some were cheering him on, while others just wanted some tea. The announcers were also saying their theories for everyone to hear. Is he going to start a fight? Maybe. I heard that Iwaizumi and Oikora played for the same team in high school, so maybe he's mad that Oikora left. Maybe. The entire gymnasium watched with bated breath as Iwaizumi came to a stop in front of Oikora. Their jaws fell to the floor when Iwaizumi knelt down and pulled out a ring. There was a split second of silence so loud they could hear their own bloods flow. Then crowd goes wild. Oikora was staring at Iwaizumi surprised, not even noticing his own teammates pick up their banner and flipped it, showing the back. Written in the back of the banner, in all caps, is "Marry me, Toru. Toru, I've wanted to marry you for years now." The people screaming suddenly grew silent, desperately wanting to hear what was being said. The Argentina team captain also brought a microphone closer so everybody could hear, but neither Oikora nor Iwaizumi noticed. Too absorbed with each other. "But I didn't ask yet because I had nothing to offer you. But now, we've both achieved per dreams and I believe it's time for us to take the next step." Oikora was trying to wipe his tears away while Iwaizumi was letting his just run down his face. "I prepared a whole speech for this, but I've forgotten everything I spent weeks memorizing, so I'll just say this." Oikora laughed and Iwaizumi chuckled shakily. He's confident that he won't be rejected, but he still can't help but feel nervous. "Toru, please spend your forever with me." Oikora didn't answer immediately, still trying to wipe his tears away. The entire gymnasium was silent, waiting to hear what Oikora's answer would be. "Iwa-chan. Yes. Oh my god, yes. Yes. Always yes." Iwaizumi shakily stood up and embraced an equally trembling Oikora in one motion, before closing his eyes and sighing in relief. They are both just happy, crying in the middle of it, whispering to each other how much they love each other. The crowd, once again, goes wild, but not as wild as the blonde setter from the Japan team and 3 people in the stands who has Argentina jerseys and 1 with Japan jersey. Basically, emotional Oikora. Super duper ultra mega very much emotional best friends and son. Their cries could be heard even through all the noise. Iwaizumi eventually let Oikora go to insert the ring on Oikora's finger. They both admired the sight of the ring on Oikora's finger for a few moments before Iwaizumi cupped Oikora's face and gently pressed a kiss on it. "I love you, Toru. Thank you for not letting go before. Iwa, I love you too."
The end. This is the last episode, beginnings and ends, guys, and I want to thank all of you for all the love and support you have given me. Thank you guys so much. I couldn't have done it without you.